Hey everybody, this is Atticus the Death Metaler, and again, it's been a while since I've made a video. Now, I know I am very behind and a little bit late on this subject matter. I was sitting on top of a hill watching all this unfold so that I can have a proper way to make this video once the dust all settled. And yep, I wanted to wait until everything was all clear until I can finally make this video for you guys. So if you can tell by the title of this video, we all know where this video is going to be leading to. But first,
let's find out.
I know this is not going to make a lot of sense to all of you people, but all of you know that when I first started this channel, I wanted to talk about stuff that I really liked. And up until I got caught up in the ranting community with my big break on my Elliot Rodger video. But mostly, I became very political. And all of you know that my political journey throughout this channel was wild. It was also fun at the same time. Now, all of you know that I was part of the anti-SJW brigade. So, everybody that was getting sick and tired of all these SJWs constantly pissing, bitching, and complaining about everything that a lot of us hold dear. And around 2016, I would consider was like the peak of amazing YouTube content. I mean, if you were around back in 2016, even though shit was going crazy and 2016 was a clown year, I mean, there was a sense of community and we were all like together in a way, despite, a lot of people's differing political beliefs with each other. There was a common goal that these freaking ding-dongs need to shut up. Everything was good up until, 2017, 2018. After the election, you had just non-stop anti-SJW content that was just bringing it out like a conveyor belt. And it was just the same shtick over and over again. But something really happened in late 2019, I do believe. And that was where the bread tubers rose up from, your typical Anita Sarkeesians, Zoe Quinns, Lacey Greens. You know those people that we have made countless videos against. The bread tubers. So I think you all know the usual suspects, like Hassan Piker, Vosh, and Noah Samson, just to name a few. Those people came out of the woodworks, and then the tide changed with YouTube political commentary, along with the rise of streaming platforms like Twitch. And these guys were taking a lot of W's, especially with the pandemic that sprang forth in 2020. So they were essentially the answer to every typical generic anti-SJW content creator that all of you guys knew. But then the cracks started to unfold, I think around in 2023 and early 2024, where obviously Hassan Piker was the living, breathing definition of a champagne socialist. Noah Samson, I don't know what to say about Noah Samson. He's just a snarky asshole. And Vosh, well, Vosh really wanted to be a horse, if you know what I mean. Why do I bring all of this up? Well, I think the final nail in the coffin on bread tubers would be this guy right here. His name is In Praise of Shadows. So this is where we move to our next section. So for those of you who are unaware, living under a Dwayne Johnson, honestly, I did not know about this guy until very later. The first time I heard about this guy was when Jay Longbow, whom I have not watched in a while, did a live stream video that we are talking about, bad conservative horror movies. Now, In Praise of Shadows, or his real name, Zane, I think his real name is Zane. Let me know in the comments if I am wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong. So, Zane is essentially like a discount Noah Samson. It was actually really funny, and I thought for a few days that Zane was Noah Samson, but turns out no, he's basically Noah Samson light, or discount store Noah Samson. But anyways, that's besides the point. Zane, or In Praise of Shadows, is pretty much like he reviews horror, but also brings in his spicy bread tube views into the mix. I mean, like, you can interpret on whatever kind of music or film or video games, however you want with your political beliefs. I mean, I've did it the majority of my YouTube career, so I am no stranger into that, but as of late, it's just been like kind of meh-ish, and I mean, it's not like I have stopped talking about politics. I mean, I still talk about it, but like this dude, his video is just, it is quite something. And the main reason why a lot of people turn their heads over to this obscure bread tuber was where he decided to go in a 30-minute psychotic spiel into going after one of, if not one of the most beloved recent YouTubers as of late, that I really enjoy his content. He decides to go after Wendigoon out of all people. Now, those of you who do not know Wendigoon, Wendigoon is a YouTuber that I highly respect for a good chunk of reasons. Wendigoon doesn't specialize in just one topic. He specializes in a lot of stuff that he is very interested in. He can go into conspiracy theory, he makes iceberg videos, he talks about literature, film, just a bunch of stuff that I really do like. And in fact, like, the first video that I ever came across on Wendigoon was his video on the Anthill Kids, and good lord, I thought that the worst cult was that of the People's Temple, but I was proven wrong. This cult was way worse than fucking Jim Jones. But that's another topic for another time. But Wendigoon is just seen as just a really cool, really down-to-earth individual. Now, yes, I have been very critical on Christians, and Wendigoon is that type of Christian that is pretty wholesome, doesn't shove his beliefs down anybody's throats. Just a guy that is just very wholesome, makes good quality content, just a normal guy. Well, Zane, out of everyone, decided to go in a 30-minute spiel into going around saying that Wendigoon is the worst person imaginable.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern, friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years. And that, like many people who talk about being Christians as much as he does, has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism. I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire who got famous around the age of 19. And I don't know if you can actually really truly be a good cultural critic with a voice that has a definitive perspective, without several years of genuine, independent, lived experience away from the home that you were raised in. And in his case, he became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20. And so if you leave the home and immediately become famous and rich, without having to ever actually truly struggle, can you be considered to have ever actually had lived experience at all that would qualify you to give criticism on works of art about the experience of average and poor people?
And oh my goodness, it fucking backfired like a motherfucker. And it didn't take very long until Zane felt the heat, and then he decided to take off that huge tirade off of Wendigoon, off of his video. So 30 plus minutes just taken out. There were multiple people making commentary videos, making rants against Zane, until therefore he basically just deleted the entire video. But still, it's just, it basically just, it was just probably the worst thing that this guy ever did. Now, why is it? Why would this guy go after Wendigoon? Well, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss this and find out why. And Praise the Shadows had a lot of outrageous claims that Wendigoon was a horrible person. And what were those claims, you may ask? So Zane, why are you saying that Wendigoon is a horrible person. What has Isaiah done? Have you gone through a lot of research? Yeah, well, I think he's a bad person because a lot of people on Reddit says that he has bad vibes. Bad vibes? All I can see from him is that, Isaiah has really good vibes. There has to be other reasons why that Wendigoon's a horrible person. Yeah, well, he's rich. He can't have a say on anything because only poor people can have, those opinions, not rich people. Well, dude, by that logic, you can't complain about being poor because you have white privilege. So, there goes that. Yeah, well, he's Christian. You don't like Christians either, Atticus Death Miller. Yes, I am very critical on Christianity, and I have very personal and valid reasons why I have stopped being a Christian. But do I think that all Christians are bad and horrible people? No. And besides, Wendigoon, as I have stated earlier, he doesn't shove his beliefs down anybody's throats. So, there goes that. Yeah, well, he owns guns and he shows off guns. So, a good vast majority of the US population is bad. Okay, got it. Anything else? Well, he's friends with a lot of bad people. Okay, well, name them for me. Well, he's friends with Brandon Buckingham. And Brandon Buckingham threatened to, grape a woman. Okay, that's very serious. Who'd you hear it from? Sneeko! Okay, I thought you were a bread tuber, in Praise of Shadows. Aren't bread tubers supposed to hate red pill, gurus or any of those people? I thought you were really, you really hated those guys. Makes a lot more sense. Cucks sticking together. I get it. Okay, well, he's friends with Oobaville, and Oobaville is a gun content creator who befriended and talked with Andrew Tate, and he also exploited Nikocado Avocado's mental illness. Okay, so he's friends with Andrew Tate. I beg to differ. He was just interviewing Andrew Tate, and even though I made a video on Nikocado Avocado, a lot of people are now coming to the realization that Nikocado Avocado is a character, and he is very self-aware, so there's that. You're taking a lot of L's, dude. Yeah, well, he's also friends with Shoe on Head. Okay. And? He's also friends with Mudahara, Some Ordinary Gamers, and he's against trans people. I find it so funny that you guys say that criticizing trans people is not okay unless it's Blair White, so, go ahead, King. And he's also friends of Turkey Tom, who's also associated with gun creators. Dude, at this point, I think you're literally grasping at straws. Well, he founded the Boogaloo Boys! He founded the Boogaloo Boys! That's why he's wearing the Hawaiian shirt in every one of his videos! Dude, I swear to God, man. He only stated that he was a part of a group that instantly became radicalized, and he did not want any part of it whatsoever. You do realize that people can change, but you fail to realize that, dude. Yeah, you're basically grasping at straws. Just admit it, dude. You're just jealous. Oh yeah, and he also claims that him living in Tennessee and that the part in Tennessee that he lives in is the majority of all those people are basically 100% racist unless they prove otherwise.
Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise. We aren't sitting around at night talking about the goddamn Mothman and shit. I even came from a poor family and he didn't. And what resulted from some good faith criticism of his use of language was days upon days of people calling me a If you're a public figure who is being criticized publicly, and the only people who come to your defense are Nazis, then that can only be read as two ways. Either that you're sympathetic to their views, or that you're perfectly fine making money from them, and are comfortable with that ideology being the backbone of your base.
Now, let's be all honest here. I have visited Tennessee 3 times, and let me tell you, Tennessee is a beautiful place, but it can also harbor some very, 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 crazy people that have those beliefs. I'm not going to downplay on what In Praise of Shadows is explaining, because when I was driving to my cabins for my family vacation in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, I saw some houses with some signs that were pretty spicy, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, I have come across a lot of people in Tennessee that are nothing short but absolutely wholesome, very kind, that great southern hospitality, and a lot of Jack Daniels. But the past 3 times that I have ever visited Tennessee, it's been nothing but absolutely phenomenal, and I would love to go back to Tennessee. It's no wonder they call it God's country. But to go around and assume that all those people are all racist until they prove otherwise, that is a huge fucking stretch. A big stretch. And it's so funny how, like, this guy goes around in a position of, love, tolerance, and acceptance, when in truth, you've been the exact opposite. You really have been the exact fucking opposite. You have been nothing but spiteful. You've been hateful, especially to a guy that a lot of people nowadays, they hold him in such high regard. So when I found out about all this shit, I was like, you gotta be some kind of stupid or this brazen or this salty to go after Isaiah, because Isaiah, from what a lot of people do agree with, is that he is not a person that would be hateful or anything. I know I've skipped over a lot of people that Wendigoon associates with, but I had to go over to the people that I am familiar with, because I do watch most of their content. I am very familiar with Shoe on Head. I do watch some Ordinary Gamers here and there, and I came across Brandon Buckingham due to the Moist Critical and Sneeko drama. So, good God, just fucking good God. But I was very curious with all of this shitstorm going on. I was curious to see whether or not Wendigoon was going to respond, but in fact he did. And I actually got this comment right here to show all of you guys. So Wendigoon responds to the video that was posted 3 days after, stating this, and it's going to be a long read, but we're going to be reading it all the way, so just bear with me, guys. Please, no one harass or comment rude things on my behalf. I do not agree with or condone meanness in any way. If you're here to leave a spiteful remark on my behalf, don't. Nothing good comes from anger. I want to apologize for people saying awful things to you on Twitter. I did not know this was happening and don't stand by that behavior. I followed you because I saw your Slender Man video and enjoyed it, then saw you in my recommended follows. It sounds like you strongly dislike me, and that's okay. But if I have done anything to cause that, I apologize. If I ever spoken against you without cause or made any joke at your expense, I am sorry. I did not follow you to harass you, but if that contributed in any way, I wish I could take that back. You don't have to like me, but I hope you do not feel I have ill will against you. There is a lot you assumed incorrectly about me, but that's to be expected. I try to keep my life private in what ways I can, and my friends mentioned in the video can take up for themselves. I will only point out that your assertion about Brandon Buckingham is particularly egregious because the lie regarding a threat was made up by Sneeko when Brandon called him out on his behavior. I know you wouldn't support an internet figure like Sneeko, but you inadvertently did by not checking the source. I've made similar mistakes. Most YouTubers have at one point or the other, but harmful allegations spread when people parrot rather than decipher data. I have said things in the past that I do not agree with now, and I am learning to better myself every day, and each day finding myself in the wrong. I am sorry for the things I said to bring hurt or strife onto any person or people. May God forgive me. I hope you're successful. The Slender Man video was great, and I hope you don't find myself or my audience impeding your career. And again, if you're here to leave a mean comment for me, don't be.
This perception of anything I've given you, I'm sorry if I've ever devalued from you or your channel, I apologize. And I sincerely mean it. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. I want everyone, regardless if they like me or not, to do well. Christ didn't say love people who are nice to you. He just said love people. If you say stuff online, you're going to get pushback for it if it's, any kind of controversial, but I hope you don't let that deter you in the long run. I hope you can continue to pursue your dreams. I promise I will not try to stand in the way of that, and I hope none of my followers do. But as mentioned, there's some people I can't corral regardless of what I say. But yeah, just I hope you do well, and I'm sorry for all of this happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the cruel far-right extremist Wendigoon.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right.
In some ways, I can relate to Zane in Praise of Shadows. Now, I know it's quite something for me to say, but let me try to explain. So, if you guys do remember, back in the day, a similar situation, with what In Praise of Shadows is going through, happened to yours truly. Now, those of you who do not know, strap yourselves in, and those of you who do know, let's go back in time when yours truly was an absolute dipshit. I think it was the norm for everyone, back in the 2000s and early 2010s, to not only shit on, emo and scene kids. I mean, I've done it as well. I've been guilty of making fun of scene kids. And oh boy, I could only imagine what past me would think of current me now, but that's besides the point. But there was also another group that was considered very acceptable to just shit on, and that was of course the Juggalos. So all of you are familiar with this group, ICP, the Insane Clown Posse, and all of you are familiar with their fan base, which is the Juggalos. So the Juggalos are considered your typical white trash, trailer living, people with clown face paint and they drink Faygo. Well, yeah, that was the stereotype for a long time, and there has been such a stigmatization of the Juggalo community. I mean, fucking hell. Even the FBI classified the Juggalos as a gang back then. Well, yours truly, back in the day, he also did not like Juggalos. Just because, it was popular to hate on Juggalos back then. So, I was also emulating, back in the day, I was also a fan of Undertaker Freak 1127. Oh geez, that name will make all of you gag. But, yeah, UTF was a good inspiration for me. One of many inspirations before he fell down south, but I wanted to emulate his video on taking Nickelback off of this one performance for the Detroit Tigers game for some shit. It was a very long video. I might have to check it out, but that's besides the point. I found out that my all-time favorite death metal band, Cannibal Corpse, was playing at the Gathering of the Juggalos. Now, those of you who do not know, the Gathering of the Juggalos is essentially just Warped Tour, Bloodstock, Summer Breeze, Vaucanfest, but for Juggalos. And so I was like, no, Cannibal Corpse is not in correlation with ICP or Twisted or all these other, Juggalo groups. And so I emulated, copied, and printed my version of Take Nickelback out of this one baseball game and made it to take Cannibal Corpse out of the Gathering of the Juggalos. Shot it, uploaded it, and I thought it was hot shit. Very wrong. Instead, I have been absolutely bombarded by Juggalos just absolutely dogpiling on me. It was the biggest heat I have ever received. And I privated the video. I still got a lot of heat from it. And then I deleted the video. And back then, I thought that me deleting the video just showed how much of a coward I was. Which, in many ways, why I said I can relate to In Praise of Shadows. Because when you have that much criticism just thrown at you, you do not know what you can do. And all you can do is just shut down, delete it. But unfortunately, a lot of people, like for instance Brandon Buckingham, took his video and then, did a commentary on it. And so this was where I met my friend, Big Nick, rest in peace, buddy, where he actually, we had a good talk about like the aftermath of me uploading and then deleting that video. And he says, hey man, I'll cover for you. I can see that you are a bit remorseful. I will cover for you. And I said, what should I do? And he says, you should make an apology video. And so I did just that. And I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. You do not fuck with the Juggalo family. I learned it the hard way. But overall in time, I grew to really appreciate horrorcore groups like ICP and Twisted. I still listen to them often, and now more than ever, a lot of people that I, were friends with who are metalheads also like ICP. So it's like, I mean, everybody wants to be a Juggalo now. Now I think more than ever, Juggalos are now more loving and accepting than they were back then. And I think, I mean, yeah, we can joke about Juggalos here and there, but yeah, except in Praise of Shadows, didn't apologize. That's the difference between you and me, Zane, is that I was ignorant and I apologized. You were just slandering Wendigoon. And even then, when Wendigoon made that very respectful comment, you still doubled down. What is the big giveaway here in this whole debacle? Well, it's very simple, actually. Don't go around being an absolute fucking smear merchant, because nobody loves a smear merchant. Yeah, free speech is good and all, but when you're going around saying filthy lies and big bold claims that have no basis surrounding it, you're gonna look like an absolute fool with your pants on the ground wearing a dunce cap. And in Praise of Shadows, Zane, if you are watching this, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, you are still coping pretty hard without you even noticing, take my absolute advice. Dude, take the L. All this backtracking, especially what you're doing on your Discord, you're digging yourself into a bigger hole. Nobody, and I will say this again, nobody likes a fucking smear merchant. Nobody likes someone saying very big, bold claims with no basis surrounding on a person that clearly is just a normal person, as well as dragging everyone else that he associates with. Like, good God. I could imagine if he ever decided to go after Moist Critical, it would be game over. Absolute game over. But then again, he's going to take with what I'm going to say, throw it out the fucking window, and also say, oh, you have no basis because you associated with being a Trump tart as well. Yeah, I will admit, I voted for Trump, but do I look at him the same way as I was a few years ago? No. Absolutely not. Because again, dude, people can change. And unfortunately, there are still people that are still going to bury their head and believe the same beliefs that they claim is like the best beliefs than any other beliefs. And it really sucks because, a lot of people want to believe what they want to believe without hearing other people's perspectives. Because how the fuck are we going to grow as a person and develop new sets of ideas and new beliefs if we don't learn from each other? I mean, there are people that I associate with that are, left-leaning and right-leaning. And there are some times where we disagree, but we agree to disagree. Would I ever agree on someone believing in, racist beliefs? Fuck no. Would I agree in, genocide? Absolutely not. So yeah, when it comes to like agreeing on what should be put on a pizza, absolutely. And if you can be like, cordial and respectful over people, like with what Oompaville did with Andrew Tate, like that's a much better response than just you doing all the shit. And you can go around saying that you are in the right and that Wendigoon is still a hateful person. But keep in mind, there is one hateful person throughout this entire debacle. And you should only look at yourself in the mirror. That would be you. That says a lot about you. So, dude, take the L, take the high road. And that's for everyone, especially into my set of, people that view me. Don't dunk on this guy. Please don't. I think I think the internet has already given him the punishment that he rightfully deserves. But this is just what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my thoughts, my opinions on this whole situation. And I think it's a very valuable lesson to be learned, is that don't be a smear merchant. That is the big giveaway right there. So what did you guys think about this video? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Do you think that Wendigoon is a horrible fascist that is rich and owns guns and founded the Boogaloo Boys? Or do you think that Zane was in the right? Leave it down in the comments below. And stay tuned for more videos to come. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Miller. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are down in the description below. Keep it metal. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Have an excellent and blessed day, y'all. Cheers.